Hey everyone, this is Alaska from Call Out Culture. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are enjoying the podcast and you feel inspired to start your own, let me tell you about the system that we use. It is called Anchor. Best things about Anchor, it's free. There's tools that allow you to create and record and edit your podcast right from your phone and your computer. You can even add a song from Spotify directly from into your episodes. The possibilities are endless of what you could create, whether it's like music analysis or your own radio show or something that the world's never heard before. I don't know what that is. You figure that out. Not my job, yours. Anchor is going to distribute the podcast for you so it'll be heard on Spotify, Apple, and all the other podcastings you can use. Like all you do is you upload your podcast and boom, it appears in the other feeds. You can also make money through advertisements like this, or you can also set up like your own sort of Patreon fan support thing. There's no minimum listenership, and everything you need to make your podcast is in one place. So if you want to do a podcast, you want to be like us here at Call Out Culture, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started.
Yo, Call Out Culture fans, right before we start this new episode about Spike Lee, I wanted to share with you The Leak, the first single from me and Small Professor as Career Crooks from our new album Never at Peace, which drops Black Friday, but is up for pre-order now on Bandcamp. So whenever you hear this, it should be up live unless you're on Patreon and you get this shit early. So you can hear this record called Benicio del Toro from me and Small Pro, Never at Peace, the second album from Career Crooks.
Yo.
Here it is.
We're here now. Shouts at Federal Donuts. Got busy with them. Hey yo, rules of the game are simple and plain. Hey yo, the rules of the game are simple and plain. Hey yo, the rules of the game are simple and plain. I don't even rhyme no more, I explain. Contents under pressure. Wrote rhymes all through my college lectures. Date a girl, might lose her next semester. I don't even rhyme no more, I explain. Yo, tranquil mind, so I'm never the aggressor. Even towards dudes that wanna put me in the stretcher. No freelancing, now I'm an investor. I don't even rhyme no more, I explain. You can flex, but my squad got that Thanos snap. Wild like Nicky Scarfo getting his capo clap. That's some South Philly shit, you don't know about that. I explain, spent hundreds on leathers, but never worn Averex. Would've given my left hand to be on Sway and Tech. And white dude's favorite jet was Wayne Corbett. Don't even rhyme no more, I explain it. Yo, we can get wild, you know we wild, we can get wild. We can get wild, you know we wild, we can get wild. We can get wild, you know we wild, we can get wild. I don't even rhyme no more, I explain. Now I'm bumping inner visions at intersections. Drop bombs like bad receivers at intersection. How come all the baddest people win these elections? Everything ain't bad meets evil, and still they Brexit. Yo, it's nativism, wasting time on who they hated. I wish the native tongues really were reinstated, but Fife is gone and Jungle Brothers vanished. So now I reckon Crew's the greatest posse on the planet.
Welcome to Call Out Culture Podcast with Alaska, Curly Castro, and Zilla Rock.
America, welcome to your number one podcast in all of hip hop, America, and the world. We're Call Out Culture, and I'm Alaska. I'm here with my friends Curly Castro and Zilla Rocca. Zilla Rocca's drinking a Corona.
Extra.
Wishing
it tastes like crap.
Getting a last. They didn't even have a lime in it. He's just drinking a plain, so it tastes like armpit.
It tastes really bad. These are left over from my son's birthday party. I haven't been looking forward to getting these out of the fridge.
That's right. In Philadelphia, they give Coronas out in the goodie bags for the kids.
Well,
and Zilla is very excited because the second trailer for Morpheus is out, and we all know he's a big Morpheus fan.
Wait, Matrix Morpheus?
No, Morbius.
No, Jared Leto Morpheus.
Oh, Morbius.
Yeah, Jared Leto.
The living vampire.
You're mad, but no, it's not about Morbius. It's about.
But aren't all vampires technically living? I mean, I know they're undead, but they're animated and they're out.
So the thing is, Morbius is like not. He's like a different vampire. He has like suction cups on his hand. He got some other stuff going on.
Yeah,
vampirism is like a blood disease. more so than like Dracula. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Dracula.
disease and stuff, rather than
Right.
he's not descendant of Dracula or any, he's not in
Yeah.
that line. So
Yeah.
it's funny because in Marvel, there is Dracula in that ancient stuff and all that history,
Yes.
but then Morbius
Yes.
was a doctor and he developed this. The cartoon makes him funny as hell. The cartoon makes him funny because he's like,
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's like,
He's
I'm still a doctor. Give me my coat. It's
yeah,
funny as shit.
he's kind of goth. He's a little
Yeah.
hot topicified.
That's why it's hilarious that Leto played him because
Oh,
in the
he's
comics,
sexy
he's got
edgelord.
high collars. It's very high
Oh,
collars. In the
Yeah,
comics.
with like the giant like V-neck,
big
like
neck,
the
yes,
American
big
Apparel
neck.
V-neck down like to your belly button. Like that's
Nice.
his
He's very like 90s vampire chic because he's wearing like a leotard.
No,
but
he's like
high
70s. No, he's 70s
yes.
vampire chic.
collar, like Dead Man, chest.
Yeah,
roll
dead
open.
man, the chest out. Yeah.
He does a lot of his. But his
Yeah,
I'm
he's
so
like a
glad I never
trap-
got into comic books.
He's like a trapeze artist.
This
Is
just
also
makes
in
me
the
happy.
Village
I
People.
never cared about any of this.
Oh, it's
You know,
great.
so when you have to say it out loud to your other adult friends, oh, it sounds ridiculous.
Oh,
But to us, like, oh, Morbius, he was a
Yeah,
scientist.
Morbius.
So it is.
Yeah, everybody
He
knows
was
that.
messing around. Now he's like, he's got vampire blood disease, and his woman
Yeah.
was like, Morbius, stop it. He's like,
Now I know how I sounded when I was trying to explain the history of Michael Myers to my daughter's friend's father on Halloween. He's like, so wait, there's more than one timeline? I was like,
Oh, it's
yeah,
like the
well,
one I sent you.
you know.
Remember the one I sent you from Red Letter Media, where they were like,
Yeah.
"This is a sequel, but not to the first reboot with Rob Zombie. It's a sequel to the first one, but it
Yeah.
doesn't include part two. But
This
it's the
way
first
to
time JB Lee's back, except for part 2, part 8, part."
they just kept
easiest
coming
way to
back.
explain Michael Myers
There's-
is, what if the black sheep of the family who went off to UAB Bowling Green, was a homicidal maniac,
Green.
came back and killed everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, where's Timmy? Oh, he's at Bowling Green.
Slippery
He'll
Rock.
be back on the holidays. I don't know what he's doing out there. He's studying like
That Coastal Carolina.
Oh, he Castro. He's at IUP, Indiana University, Pennsylvania. IUP.
But wasn't there like I always remember there's like a college of the Californians, like in the name. So like,
Yes, there's a whole bunch of weird ones. I remember there was
Santa
a
Cruz,
Mr. Show skit where they had like these college basketball scouts that were going out and scouting like first graders, like in youth basketball.
Yeah. They
And
were
one of
doing
them
the
was
parents.
One of them was from Indiana Basin Silt.
I remember that the one kid's like literally like drooling, and they're like, "Oh, he's got to cut that out before he
Yeah.
makes the team." And they talk to their parents like, "Is he potty trained yet? He's got a nice jumper." That's classic.
Show was amazing.
That's the best, man.
All right, so let's get to this episode, gents.
Let's do it.
So
Let's do it.
today we wanted to talk. We came up with this idea of things that we want to talk about. We want to talk about people that are kind of like hip hop adjacent.
Bang.
People that are very important to the development of the culture, but aren't necessarily hip hop artists.
Right. Yes.
So
it could be a smattering because you know what came up to my mind? Like we probably will. Jacob the jeweler. Like we might
Yeah.
have to sit down and break down some of the jewelers.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one, but I get what you're saying. I think I'll be
Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan. You know what
Dapper
I'm saying?
Dan.
Like, or
Yeah.
even if we get in our purview promoters, like who ran the tunnel.
lineage of
Yeah.
adjacentness.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't mean to do
Bang.
anything like
Lineage
Or
of
somebody like
adjacentness.
Jamal Shabazz.
Yeah, or
Exactly.
Fat Five Freddy.
They are very important to like documenting the look, the style, and feel of hip hop, and even creating it. In this person's case, that we're going to
And
talk about
curating.
today.
Speaking of which, Nas is about to do the documentary on Ralph McDaniels.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, we might have to do a Ralph.
Yeah.
McDaniels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be
I
a
was
good
just
one.
because if y'all ever seen Ralph do his little, hey, come to my house, he goes into the basement and shows like
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
the tapes. And not just like if people are familiar with TV production. These are the big tapes that, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
big real
Mm.
tapes. They they're a little bigger than VHS, maybe like 3 times the size of VHS.
Yep.
Tim.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that big. And they go into certain machineries, but he kept them all. He has all of them in like his
Wow,
place.
that's amazing. There's got to be some
Fire.
gems in there.
I seen him walk down. He said, "I kind of know." He started walking back. I know this whole section, but this over here is kind of like I have to look. Like you have to
Wow.
look through and figure it out. But I was stuff like that. But anyway, stuff like that paints the culture. Stretch and Bobbito, Sway and King Tech,
Mm.
Yeah.
things of those natures. I think will be talked about in this
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we could even talk about like a show like Rap City or Yo MTV Raps or anything.
Or,
Like,
or the
Claire.
tunnel, the spot, the tunnel.
yeah,
Like how big that was, or Latin Quarters. things of that
Bobito,
Yeah.
all these things.
yo,
Yeah,
Castro,
yeah,
your
sure.
voice is going in and out.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
like
So I think lineage of adjacentness is the title.
yeah. So for today, figure we might as well kick it off right,
Hell yeah.
and we're gonna talk about Spike Lee.
Mhm.
This is our Spike Lee episode. Spike Lee, lineage of adjacentness, adjacent Voorhees.
Adjacent Voorhees. Adjacent kid
Yeah.
who doesn't beat his wife.
Jesus, right?
You remember, last kid? Were you around when like on the Shaq comedy roast that would be on DVD and stuff,
Yeah.
and they would make fun of Jason Kidd, his child who had the big ass head
Yeah.
because he had like a bobblehead, and they
Dude,
would
that
always
kid
cut
had
to him and the wife.
giant
And
head.
he had like a full mustache at 3 with a noggin on his shoulders, and at the roast they would make fun of his head.
It's amazing.
Jason Kidd.
He must have gotten so salty.
Oh man, that was wonderful. Yeah, so
And let's-
we're not Jason.
I just typed in Jason Kidd's son, and it immediately populated head.
People know, man. It was all during those Shaq comedy roasts in the early 2000s. They used to
That's
crush
amazing.
Jason Kidd's son. Oh, that was wonderful.
Wow.
What a
Oh, wow.
wonderful
He's a
son.
weird looking kid, too. Now
Oof.
that he's grown up.
I gotta look him up now. Jason
Yeah.
Kidd's head.
He looks like Jason Kidd who was left in water for too long.
Not a handsome guy, but Jason Kidd's
No.
kind of a weird looking dude as well.
Yeah, he is.
Not yeah, his oof. Yeah, oh, not all right. Never mind. I wish I had looked at this. Shouts to him though. TJ. That's his name.
TJ Kidd.
TJ Kidd. All right, so we're gonna do the Malcolm X lineage of adjacent kidness. Oh
So-
boy. The next episode is gonna be like people with the worst shaped heads.
Worship.
And what the fuck were you calling it? The Malcolm X? What does that have to do with it? You know-
it's
you
not
don't know-
Malcolm X.
You just said it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, you did. You said
Did
the
I?
Malcolm X Jason Kidd head thing. I was like, what the hell are you
Oh,
talking
I know.
about?
I said the adjacent. I'm sorry. I
How
worded that totally
did Malcolm
poorly.
X come in? What
I thought I was saying lineage of adjacent. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This
I'm still trying. Ask you see, I'm thinking
Corona
maybe he's thinking the X.
playback.
Like I'm trying to figure out how he's like making the
Playback
metaphor.
I was wondering it too. I was going to let it slide. I think what he was trying to say is that Jason Kidd's big head son
Yes.
is the Malcolm X of all big head children.
No, I wasn't. But that
Is
was
that where you're
that-
coming from?
that's a good
Alaska,
recovery.
you helped him, but that's still.
Not what
I thought
said.
it was like a word thing, like the
Listen.
X small heads, the Malcolm X heads. Like
Listen,
we still.
when you're forced to drink Corona Extra that gets put in your kid's basket for Halloween in
Yo-
South Philly, this is what happens.
Yo,
sometimes. You
Z,
get
me
banged
and
up.
Alaska, we're MCs and we can't make. We're trying to make it work. But we can't make the
Have you listened to my albums? I keep wild mistakes in there, just like the pod. I keep the mistakes. in.
You try to Capadonna us
Listen.
and like, yo, man, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know,
discombobulate-
Kappa. Like,
discombobulate your
so-
technique and your scheme.
so say it again, Kappa. Say it slow. You don't even understand. I was watching him. They were talking to him on. I told you on that Mano
Right.
joint.
Yeah.
So Gap is good for a turn of phrase too, or something like that. Like he
He's
was
the
like.
greatest. He's the greatest.
He said something about, I was stirring noodles. He did so I was cracking up because they were looking around and I was like, y'all don't know.
Yo, shouts to that dude that tried to get me on Twitter when shouts to Cam McCrate 808s. When I said on the Iron Man episode with him that Winter Wars is the greatest verse in Wu-Tang history. And some dude respond back to me. He's like, oh, sorry, you're wrong. I bomb atomically. Thanks for playing.
First of all, you're not naming the verse. Second of all, no. Yes, it's in the contention, but like, no.
Wait. Was saying Triumph is the best verse in the entire history of Wu means you stop listening to Wu.
No, I was
at
going to say
album.
that. Z. That's a
That
low
means
hanging
you
fruit.
only heard that verse.
Right.
only heard
I was
that,
going to
right.
say that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
low hanging fruit to pick a bomb atomically.
Yeah.
Means, first of all, I love that verse, but
Me too,
I'm going to
it's
tell you
incredible.
the truth. The best verse on there is RZA. Like,
Well, walk could
I said, stand perpendicular to the square. You stand glow like flare. Welcome to the dragon's lair. In particular.
That's crazy.
What?
But
Yo,
it's
that's-
also not even Deck's best verse.
no. But it's just
the best opening verse. I think that's where it lays its
Also
head,
on
right?
a giant single with
And a
$1 million
massive
video
posse
and-
cut. So does
Yes.
it count? Like when there's that many verses, it kind of gets out of the realm of song. You know what I'm saying? This
Yes.
is not like
Yeah.
eye for an eye, or you know what I'm saying?
I'll
Like,
take Deck's verse on Guillotines on Cuban Links.
I'll go above the clouds. I'll raise
Above
you
the-
that,
I mean,
boy.
well, that's stamped in gold.
Isn't it? And it's not even on his. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Science is mentally scarred.
Oh,
Extra
no.
large.
Alaska, I got one for you.
Smash
I
Yes.
think Dex verse on Cross Your Heart. That shit is hard
Oh,
body, yo. That's on Killer Priest joint.
yeah.
That
Heavy
shit
Mental.
is hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Deck had a 2-year run of just destroying everything.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yo, he's got
It's
a
so-
crazy verse on Hollow Bones, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so, like, so before we get, but why if his voice is kind of the same and his cadence is the same, it just don't work these days, right?
Yeah.
You're right. It's
No.
not a
You
what?
know what it is, Castro? And we should bookmark this for a future episode. Alaska, Castro and I had a separate convo the other day about creativity, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
And how an issue we have with people being hyper prolific today is that they're giving you a lot of stuff, but it's not creative.
Boom. Yes.
Does that
It's
make
just
sense?
standard. It's
It's
factory.
just stuff.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's factory.
There's no real creativity into
No.
anything. And so I think with someone like Deck, it's like, and I'm not just picking on him. Trust me, he's the reason why I rap, but he's not as creative where it's just kind of like, okay, here's like the Czarface standard Deck verse. The same way he was like,
all
after
of
years,
those
it's like, here's the standard Wu Deck verse.
all those post Ghostdini Ghostface. He's going to work.
Yeah.
Right.
He's clocking in.
Yes,
He's clocking
right.
in his
We've
verses.
talked
He's
about
clocking
that.
out. We spoke.
That's
about
exactly
that, you know
what I
what
was
I'm
just thinking. I was like, it's a paycheck now.
saying? Exactly. He's filling
Right.
out a
Yeah.
contract, but it's not that.
And
I'm not even a big fan of
I'll give
Ghostdini,
all of
but
it.
that
Here's
has-
the thing. Yes, but that's
you
at
know.
least creative.
Yes.
I will just say this, and then we'll probably take a break and get into Spike Lee. I will say this. I at least give those guys credit because they gave us 20 years of like the most creative music.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Then they just kind of
doubt,
tapered out.
No doubt.
It's just weird now where people, I never heard of them until 2017, and they have no creativity in 2021.
I will say this as an addendum. Deck and Ghost in particular, at least they have creative shells. Like these projects have a certain creativity that shows. Czarface is very involved. They
Oh,
dropped another
definitely.
comic.
Yep. Yes.
Another comic just came out. And Ghostface gets with the, Adrian Young and like at least it looks
right.
good. The Ghostface Killers, he's wearing the mask with the
Yes.
it looks
Visually, aesthetic. Yeah.
right. That's what I'm saying. The
Bad,
shell.
good.
Right. The
Yeah,
shell
the
looks
sweet,
at
yeah,
least
sour
good.
soul joint. Yeah.
As opposed to, and this is my own personal thing, like when Al Divino and SD Nack are just here's a cover
Another
that's
day at
scratched,
the office.
and here's a,
Right.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like that. But we can hit
It's
a break.
almost like it's like those people that you work with where they're like, you ask them to do something like it's not my job description.
Oh, boom! Oh God! Oh wow! Right on the head.
Bring
right
that
on
to
the head.
accounting. Thank you.
Right
I
on the
don't do that.
Yeah.
Right on the head. So where's your creativity? You know you can knock this out in 5 minutes, but
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of creativity, folks, you know what gives you a lot of creativity in the bathing suit area?
oh my God.
Manscapes.
What a leader!
Did you know, fellas? Did you know Manscaped gives you the precision blade, the lawnmower 4.0? We're out here repping it, okay? The kit they just gave me in the mail for this show, I just gave it to my father. I passed it on. You know what I mean? Just pay it forward.
Pay it
sometime.
forward.
I paid it forward because you know why I
Yeah.
paid it forward to my pop? I was already rocking the Manscaped for like 2 years. All right. It takes one to know one. You want to get creative the same way, like I was telling Castro, Sub Rock was doing the cuts in MC Search's hair with the third base. You know what I mean? Boom. You could do some YouTube videos, put whatever classic hip hop logo in your joint. Whatever works for you. Manscaped got you. Rock with us. Get 20% off. COC20 when you check out. It helps support the pod. It helps support your general crotch aesthetics. Get it together. Manscaped.com. Call out culture. We'll be back.
Hey friends, it's me, your friendly neighborhood podcast host, Alaska. And I'm here to tell you about an exciting new project that I just released with my friend Jason Griff. You might know Jason Griff from his many appearances on the Call Out Culture podcast, as well as his groundbreaking work with the Griff Scorsese Midnight Express album. Also, his solo project, Fireside Chats. You need a sweater and a bearskin rug for that one, fellas. Anyway, we just dropped a new record called Human Zoo. and Human Zoo examines the cages that we put around society and the self-imposed cages we put around ourselves. It features exciting tracks like Reboot, featuring Fat Boy Sharif, and Animal Farm, featuring Love Ulysses. We also have additional vocals from the likes of Alex Ludovico. Not Ludovico, Ludovico with a C. See what I'm saying there, people? And Prem Rock. And then the All Hook All the Time track, featuring vocal stylings from Curly Castro, Zilla Rocca, Def C, Rob Sonic, Breezely Bruin, and Open Mike Eagle. If you like the rap music, folks, you're gonna want to get this record. It's a must-have for every true aficionado, and you could get it at insubordinaterecords.com. Alaska.
So yeah, let's actually get into the topic of the episode.
All right, so we talked a lot of filler. Let me take the reins here, gentlemen. So this hip hop adjacent thing, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to spotlight hip hop adjacent characters, and the reason we picked Spike Lee to set off this series is we feel like his work, his dedication, his contributions have helped paint hip hop in its infancy stages as well as to its mature stages. Spike Lee has a lot to do with the hip hop we see today. His involvement with the reinvigoration of leather medallions, the whole involvement of him sparking this whole X clothing culture. Whew. So I remember when X dropped, he was trying to, do things for promotion, and he had that X hat. And that became like a standard in some hip hop circles, especially the Nubian ones, where the X Clan, KRS-One, Parrish used to wear those hats. And so he's becoming part of the iconography. A lot of hip hop staples and phrases come from Spike Lee's movies. People reference their characters. I even have a current song referencing one of his movies, Mo Better Blues. So it's just like Spike Lee was definitely hip hop adjacent, almost parallel, because as he was developing, so was hip hop. It's interesting enough. We're going to talk about movies with y'all people, ladies and gentlemen, but we didn't really examine like were any hip hop artists in a movie or not. I don't know. And it's but like for instance, Spike Lee was the big part of the push of the song "Fight the Power." He picked that for his movie "Do the Right Thing." He made sure that was the only song that was played through a character, Radio Raheem, but that was also the contract he had worked out with Chuck D. And he said, I want this song throughout the whole movie. He could have had them play multiple songs. He could even have other people doing it, but it was like a point to making Fight the Power be the anthem of that movie. And so we're also going to talk about some of his other films that we feel has helped paint hip hop culture in a colorful manner.
Wow. I love it.
Cool. Yeah,
so what we did was we all listed our top 5. I think just favorite Spike Lee, not like greatest.
Yeah.
I just think
these are all like personal lists and mostly ones that touched us. So the quality can be, there could be a really good Spike Lee quality one, it could be really tawdry one, but these are like what movies touched you. And I'll take some blame for it, ladies and gentlemen. We did we were supposed to do top 10, and I said, let's go top 5, because top 10, we would actually have like a 2-hour episode.
It could be like a 2-hour, but
yeah.
And honestly, I don't even know if I have 10 that I could rank.
I do.
Yeah.
I could probably do.
Oh, Girl 6 is on my list, brother.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever. Teresa Randall's Jump Off.
I'll tell you what, the one I wanted to pick, even though it's not a Spike Lee joint, was Kings of Comedy.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, but
my thing with Girl 6, real quick.
Comedy.
My thing with Girl 6 is we understand it's like 3 movies, so I like one of the 3.
Okay,
y'all get my point.
Yeah, I agree. There's parts
I like.
I just don't
there's some parts it's like,
Teresa Randall is one of the.
But she's doing, it's great. Like the stalker running up on her, the obsessed, like that was frightening, and all. I was 3 movies. I like one of them, so I just like.
Okay, well let's pick the movies we did like.
All right. Hold on. Wow. So let's get it going. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my number 5 choice that no one picked but me.
Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
So just so everybody knows, the way we're going to go over this, we have each other's lists, and there's a few titles that each of us picked. where we all three of us picked it, we're only going to discuss that title after the last person who picks it goes. So that way you're not going to hear us talking like each 3 different stories about the movie. We'll just talk about it all at once. But if it's a movie that nobody else picked but the person, then we'll jump right in.
Okay. So I have that. My number 5 is a movie no one else picked but me. This is probably it's tied for another one on my list. Probably the movie I've watched the most from Spike, because it doesn't require you to know anything about him, his influence on hip hop, on American culture, African American films, nothing. It's just, to me, it's a great popcorn movie, and he shoehorns in his own commentary, which is unavoidable, but I think it's just a really great hanging out on a Saturday. It's on TV, you catch it. Inside Man. I've seen Inside Man. I love Clive Owen in it. Denzel is phenomenal. Jodie Foster, her legs look incredible, but she's great. Christopher Plummer is like
it's also
Nazi
the third
dude.
It's also the third in culmination between Denzel and Spike. It's their third movie they marked up together.
I think it's their 4th.
It's their third.
No, it's not. It's their 4th.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yep.
X, Mo Better.
He Got Game. You forgot.
He Got Game.
Yep. And then this.
And this.
So this one, it's like, I just like Denzel as like an asshole cop. And you're not really sure the whole movie, like if he's dirty, because it's always kind of hanging over his head that he did something slimy.
Yeah, that
you
is
really don't know.
Too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And it's like heavy, like on the post 9/11.
It's very much the first film post 9, like showing them working on Ground Zero. Like I don't even know how.
No, it's not. But because I don't want to spoil it, I know you're getting at. You're so close, but that's gonna spoil something I say later. So put a pin in that part.
I got it.
If you see the list, you'll know what I'm gonna say. Look at my list real quick. Something else.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Oh, whoa,
yeah. All right, don't do it.
Okay,
yeah. I guess I'll say put a pin in that piece.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So but Inside Man has like and what's his name's in it too? Homeboy who played Ziggy from The Wire. Remember, he's one of the crooks.
He is.
He is.
He
right.
Is. Yeah.
And that was like his first thing I saw him in after The Wire. I was like, oh shit, he's like annoying and
And Chiwetel Ejiofor is in it.
Oh,
he's playing homeboy. He's playing his sidekick.
He's great, man.
When yes, the interrogation scene.
Remember when they're walking down? He's like, "Yo, man, can I see your shoe? Why? Because I want to see how far you got up his ass."
He said, and they said that you planted the bombs. What? Boom! Ha ha! Like they just messing with people just to see their response. You planted the bombs. Oh, I loved it. That interrogation.
And even like the way Denzel was like such a fast talking asshole New Yorker when he's dealing with Clive Owen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he's so fucking New York when he's
and he kind of goes. I mean, we're not gonna go, but he goes over it. He like tackles him on the steps. Like that's not procedure. Like
I know.
He could have got blasted. Like he was wilding. Like
right.
Denzel was definitely wild.
And I'm always a fan too when the criminal is like unbelievably smart and detailed and planned out.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And so he gets away with all of it, and then he leaves Denzel the notes to.
Wait, Z, you don't think the mastermind of Speed, your man,
Dennis Hopper,
your man Dennis Hopper,
hot shot,
wilding out with missing the opposable thumb. He was wild.
Yeah, come on, man, he was bugging.
Remember, because he missed the thumb, he kept cross arming, like he would do everything like cross arm.
Ridiculous.
It was very funny.
That was weird. So Inside Man was my number 5. So again, it's not like it's not gonna. It's I think it's like one of his most successful just box office movies.
Probably is.
It's just a really awesome heist cop movie with his post 9/11 commentary sprinkled in about people being forfeiting their freedom and identity in terms of safety in the Patriot Act, and they're shooting people with the rubber bullets and all that shit. And like
he actually shows some
humanizing
some of the roughhousing of the Sikh. They're trying to accuse him of being Muslim. That was also the first time.
Yeah,
first time kind of in film with that.
You're right, right. Yeah, that was cool.
First time showing that.
Yeah. So Alaska, I don't want to mess with the format. Do I keep going, or is someone?
No, then now Castro goes.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're just gonna basically, the way we normally would do it.
All right. So my number 5 is Bamboozled, which is on the list as well, and so we'll talk about it when it comes up on somebody else's list. But. Bamboozled, just a little quick. Me and my girlfriend at the time and my roommate, we went to New York to see it. It wasn't playing in Philly. So we took a trip. It was that important. It was a little lull in terms of Spike Lee movies. And it came out of nowhere. Damon Wayans is in it. That was his first time working with Spike working with Spike in this capacity being lead. And so I was all about it. trailer was good. Savion Glover's in it. I was Tommy Davidson. It's great. We're gonna dive more deep into it when we get to it in the list.
We're gonna
so that was my number 5.
Right, so my number 5. My number 5 is He Got Game.
Bomb.
I think I'm the only one that had that, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because that's like number 6 on some people's list.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
So I really enjoy like the smaller Spike Lee stories.
Okay.
Like, to me, this
contained.
is a small story, right? It's just like really a story about a dad and a son.
In Coney Island.
And it's like, Coney Island, but really like the joint of it is like a dad and son basically helping each other, healing, and sort of like two kind of like lost people at different ends of the spectrum, but still lost. Like, Jesus Shuttleworth is about to explode and be the biggest thing in the world. And his dad just got out of prison.
Well,
and he's only out, like, let out, right?
Just to get assigned to state university.
But the crux is the tragedy that befalls both of them is his mom accidentally dying by the hand of his father, put his father in jail, and then to me set Jesus off to be this great basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a catalyst for Jesus to explode and become this man to take care of his sister, where also it was the end of Denzel being that type of father because he went to jail and all of that. So I always look at it like that.
It also hardened Jesus because he wasn't able to really like mourn or heal. He had to just be like
the father to
he had to grow up immediately.
He had to grow up immediately.
Right.
Raising his sister. He was dealing with his uncle and his
and I just really love like the way that they build their relationship throughout the movie. I just think it's a cool story. Like you'll see for my number 1 movie that it's like the stories that are sort of like more smaller, more contained within the family unit almost like are the ones that really like do it.
There's a lot of lack of credit given to Spike or how he does family dramas. Yeah. He doesn't skimp, which is important. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people skip over because there's not enough time. He doesn't skimp. If there's a familial issue. And also what people don't know is he's also acting with his sister a lot. Like his sister's in the movies. So familial's there. His sister's in the movies, brother scores the movies. His other brother is the cinematographer. Like he keeps his family around. And so I think he never really skips over that when it becomes present in his films. Those are all the family is always a strong component. Even in like Do the Right Thing, which we'll get to, the Sal family. Like that was a family. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just a business. So yeah.
And He Got Game, great soundtrack.
Oh
great
God!
That was almost like
Master Killer's on it too. A Public Enemy.
It isn't the resurrection of Public Enemy, right? They do like
I was gonna say like Public Enemy was like kind of like nobody gives a fuck about Public Enemy,
right? That was
that
was the palatable Public Enemy record for me then because they would still drop stuff, but I didn't like it. But I liked the He Got Game soundtrack. I like that. Like that was
He Got Game.
Great songs, and they were and also with the movie budget, like that sample right there, they were able to use. I think they actually got. What's the name? To play the guitar again, like you know what I'm saying. Like that's access. You know, when you have movie budgets, you can really do some good things with soundtrack.
And then the album also had so it had the song with Steven Stills, the you know what I mean, something up in here. But the first song in Master Killer, Resurrection, and then Game Face track 8 had Smooth the Hustler.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. I remember that soundtrack is great. I have that on CD.
Yeah, it's a really good
great soundtrack. Was popping.
So, and then who played the woman? That
Mila Jovovich,
right?
Mila Jovovich, yeah.
That was the only part. It was like kind of weird that he has like.
It was a little greasy, but it was endearing when once you got past the greasy elements, the pimp and all. Like I loved his man. Oh, my man. May he rest in peace. He played the pimp. He also played Errol Barnes. I think his name's something Smith. He passed away. One of Spike Lee's regulars.
Okay.
He passed away. But I remember the pimp. Y'all remember the pimp before he fought with him. That was really good.
I remember like when Denzel taught her how to make a grilled cheese with an
iron.
With the iron.
Your man James Brown is in it. He's one of the cops.
That's close. Ned Beatty.
Not James Brown. Jim Brown. Excuse me, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Shouts to Jim Brown beating women for 50 years. Shouts to Jim Brown. Oh my God. All right. Who's next?
You.
Me. Okay. So my number 4 was Bamboozled.
Wow.
So
let's talk about it.
So my funny story about Bamboozle was I was at the Lyricist Lounge tour in Philly at the Electric Factory, and I saw Nature, Masterful. Who else was on that bill? I forget who else on that show that night.
Bunch of words.
Wordsworth was definitely there. And Mos Def was the headliner, and he was playing with Blackjack Johnson before anybody knew what the fuck that was. And Mos was at least an hour and a half late to close the show, and it was like,
now, was that dead air? Was it dead air, or did they have?
Yeah, they were just like run out of things to do, and they said he was running late coming from New York because he was at the Bamboozled premiere. So he was in a limo on his way to Philly from the Bamboozled. So after waiting that long, me and my friends started walking out saying, "Fuck Mos Def, fuck him," and all of a sudden he came right out on stage, and I was like, okay. And I stayed like for another hour, but
look, Alaska, him, Zill and his Philly Goombas. You know what I'm saying? That's
you're standing around. You're just standing there on concrete for 3 hours waiting for this dude after you've been through 2 hours.
They started rolling up their white t-shirt sleeves. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck on that friggin' stage, Mos. And you play on me says because it makes me emotional. But Bamboozled, what's the real shit? Isn't it? I think it's Damon Wayans' best work.
It is very much up there. Like, if you really got into Damon Wayans, you would see like how great My Wife and Kids turned out to be. Like, some of his other sitcom stuff. Like, he had his own lead.
Mo Money Damon. Is fucking awesome.
You know, but listen. He had that sitcom called Damon. It was one season. He was an undercover cop. You don't remember that? He was an undercover cop. And it was like sitcom or whatever. And I was like, this kind of works, but not really. And then My Wife and Kids came and always feel like Damon is really like the diamond, not in the rough. Like he is the diamond of that family. Like when he gets busy, he gets busy. You know what I'm saying? I love Marlon. I love Keenan. Sean is like my low totem, but Damon gets busy. So when he did this, he did this Delacroix thing. I was like,
Pierre.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and Castro for you to AAVE. Yeah. That's in this shit, remember?
Yep. African American Vernacular English. Yeah, it's in there.
God.
There's the whole thing with Search and being like, I'm fine.
Mouse. Yep,
I'm one drop when they killed everybody but him. I'm one drop. He was dying to get shot. Get out of Charlie Baltimore's in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Cannabis is on Mal joints.
Gano Grills and Mums and Schema. May he rest in peace. Mums is in there.
Shouts to Mums. Yeah, I just think it's like I love Rappaport as like dropping N-bombs. Like
Jada Pinkett does a great job. I think with guys, it's like the twist with Jada at the end was weird. I didn't like how that kind of turned. Like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. It turned like into this sexual harassment and manipulation thing, and I was like, wait a minute, where are we going? Like that was kind of weird. Like you know what I'm saying? But anyway.
Yeah, and Paul Mooney was awesome. Remember the Roots for the house band?
The house band.
Remember that? I was like so amped up when I saw that.
They were called the Alabama Porch Monkeys, and they were performing in blackface with Homeboy. They played Niggas is a Beautiful. The Ringmaster. Niggas is a Beautiful Thing.
Tommy Davis.
No, the main guy that was the fluffer. He would work the audience. Once they started. And all right, so the obvious elephant in the room, and I can talk about it so nobody has to feel offended. So in Bamboozled, blackface becomes like a cultural staple, and white people are wearing it at the shows, and it's become like Beanie Babies or something like that, like Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right.
And so the movie deals with how much of your soul are you selling when something like that happens. And Delacroix is like, at first he was quote unquote making a satire of it, but then you could see pieces of his soul being picked off because it's becoming popular. It's his best work to date. And when you're in television, what do you do when you have a show that you're selling your soul for the success for, but it's just your most popular show? And that's the crux of the movie.
Yes.
It was just a great movie in that time. Where entertainment is. It was a big slap in the face.
Yeah, this is
big slap in the face. Blackface was like, unspoken and unsaid, but people still trying to sneak it in parties and stuff. And I also think that this also made it even more taboo. People still wear it. I saw a teacher wore it the other day and was just walking around class for Halloween. But it was just like, look, this is awful. And as the movie goes on, Delacroix is haunted by African American caricatures of the time, the coonery, different figures, piggy banks, and different dolls that were around during the Sambo eras and times. So it was like that. So you revisited that. If you weren't familiar or if you were, great film. Great premise.
And shouts to Fat Boy Sharif, who has a Bamboozle t-shirt, which I've never seen before.
Yes.
Wow.
He's wearing it. It's ill.
That's insane.
All right. That's my number 4. Castro, what's your number 4?
All right. My number 4 is he's got jungle fever. She's got jungle fever. They got jungle fever. They're in love. Okay, and so I grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Wait, hold on.
Did you?
Yeah.
This is just a brief interlude, right? Because
nobody else got it
again. No, somebody else got it. I thought so, didn't?
No,
you're right. Sorry, my bad.
It just missed my list.
Yeah.
So
I knew. Yeah. Okay, that's what it was.
So here's the thing. So growing up in Brooklyn, there's actually not even invisible. It's a definitive divide between Italians and Black folk. And there's also neighborhood lines, like certain neighborhoods, Italians totally dominate. Same with us. And so one of the big galvanizing things between Italians and Black folks, there was issues going on, but it was the killing of Yusef Hawkins. Yusef Hawkins found himself in Bensonhurst one day. He was chased out with bats, ran across the expressway, and still kind of, got murked. They were chasing him with bats out of the neighborhood. So Jungle Fever. Yep. Jungle Fever came about like on the heels of that. And Spike was very timely with stuff like this. The Tawana Brawley incident, Spike would work that into his movies and stuff like that. So Jungle Fever came about in a time where, we're also talking about an era where Wilt Chamberlain forces a trade to get to LA so he can date white women. So, the taboo was there. And at that time, look it up for me. What year did Jungle Fever come out? It was very unspoken.
Like early 90s, right?
Yeah, it was 91.
Interracial relationships was still very taboo. I mean, now they're every commercial. But back then,
30 years later,
it was like every commercial has a mixie kid and an interracial couple. Every single one, I swear to God. But back then, it was not happening. And he put it on Front Street. Had Wesley Snipes starring it.
Annabella
Sciorra.
Sopranos,
yeah. Samuel Jackson and Halle Berry in two of their greatest roles that they've ever.
Talk about the song you did.
So I did a song called The Good Reverend Doctor, where I was taking on the character of the Good Reverend Doctor, the father, Gator and Flipper's father.
Phenomenal.
And the incident when Gator came home and was very adamant to try to get some money from his mother and didn't bring back the TV that he stole. And he was warned to not be around his father, and there was a confrontation. And you can check that out on the album Tosh. So I took that and I made that into a song. Yep. So like Jungle Fever was just like visceral, and it was urgent and it was present. So like it made you think about these things, the interracial nature of it. He was a married man. Yeah. So there was the whole in the Black community, there's the chase of the forbidden fruit, the lusting after white women in some seedy dream state. That there's always the biggest fear of white men is Black men sneaking around with their women. So that was put on Front Street. And the neighborhood reactions, Annabella's father's reaction, Gator's father's reaction
at the restaurant.
Oh yes, at the restaurant, the microaggressions.
Yeah, where she's
all
like,
of that
"You're
stuff.
tired."
Yeah, all that stuff. It was really, really well done. And then also, we'll get to Mo Better, but this movie also had very good music. Again, his brother is amazing. This movie had great music in it. So, I just remember Jungle Fever being like a movie of its time. Like it was right on time with those issues being put on Front Street.
And let's give a special shout out to Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee as well.
Oh God, yes, they're in this big
Ozzie,
time.
Man.
Oh my God, the eternal couple, one of the greatest couples we've ever witnessed in entertainment and life history. Period. But they will always give Spike great performances when they were blessing.
And Dougie Doug was in it too, which I just noticed.
Dougie Doug.
Yeah,
Frank Vincent was my shit too. Frank Vincent was out of fucking control in this movie. And Totoro.
Oh wait, there was Totoro because there was the other storyline
and Nick
Totoro and his peoples down in the neighborhood.
There's some colorful language.
And then him trying to get with the Black girl after this thing. Oh, that was all great. Yeah,
Polycarp, that's a good one. Yeah, I fuck with Jungle Fever. What about you, Alaska? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Do the Right Thing.
Which we will get to.
Discussed
because my number 3 is Do the Right Thing.
Boom. So let's. No, we still got one more that's going to go with it. So Castro, over to you.
For my number 3 now.
Yes.
My number 3 is Crooklyn.
Which we'll get into later. We're going to hustle through the middle of this.
We're burning through it. This is going to be going.
And then my number 3 is Malcolm X.
Shableasel. All right, which we're gonna get to. My number 2, just standalone piece. 25th Hour.
Floor is yours, brother.
Oof. So this is what I
First
said to you,
one.
Castro, earlier when you were like, "This is the first like post 9/11 New York
This
thing."
is the first post.
This
9/11.
one, yup. When
He
he's,
actually
like,
was given access to shoot that close. He's in the building right next to Ground Zero, which was not
Barry
public
Pepper.
access just yet. But
That's wild.
Spike was given like that early access to shoot that close to Ground Zero.
Yes.
While they were still
So,
cleaning
all right.
up.
Exactly. So here's and I've watched this movie a ton. Here's the things that jump out at me when I think of this movie. Number 1, Rosario Dawson has never looked hotter ever than this fucking movie with the silver
Mhm.
dress. Unbelievable. 2,
But I like well, what's her name in this one? She's not natural.
Anna
in this one.
Paquin. Anna Paquin.
No,
did
she's
this.
not
Yeah,
natural.
oh no, she's natural.
She's natural in this one. Then
Yeah.
what is she in He Got Game?
She's not in here. Oh, she's Lala.
He is.
La
La
La.
La.
Okay, there
Yep.
it was. Okay. That's
So Rosario Dawson never looked sexier. Number 2, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Such a fucking actor where he can play like the ballsiest guys, like in Mission Impossible 3,
Mhm.
or
and then be a complete like cuck oaf as he is in this
well,
movie. And
the
be
biggest
so
thing
good.
to me is when he's playing L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh,
version of
Dodd,
him.
the
Oh,
Lester
yeah.
Dodd, and the Master.
Right, and the
Oh my
Master
God, you
compared
can't
to
act
this-
better than that. Yes,
Compared to this slimy, like
yes,
kinda
like this
swarmy
oafish,
teacher.
like pensive, shook, in love with the student, and then Anna Paquin is like she's unbelievable. And then what's his name? Barry Pepper.
And Barry Pepper's playing
as
Right,
like the
weird
slick back dickhead New
Wall
York
Street guy.
Wall
I'm
Street
bet I
invest-
know
yeah.
New York. I know pussy.
Yes,
And really, like he has a lot of
and he's
issues
doing
that
it though.
don't-
He's doing it.
But
he's
check it.
He's doing it. The movie.
He has
He's-
issues throughout the whole movie that
Yes.
don't get resolved at all. Like his
No.
issues never get addressed, never
No.
get spoken of until they come to a culmination with
At
the
the
end,
end,
the end
right.
of them at the end. Right.
Tony Saragusa like laughably bad, like
Yeah.
Oh god, that was real
unbelievably bad. in
He was
this
playing,
movie.
but it was like henchman.
He's horrible.
He was trying to be the foreigner, and I was like, wait, the foreigners aren't even as foreign.
Yo, Monty, you believe the me? Like he's
Yeah, but the other guys-
he never
other-
acted again. I
The
don't
other
think.
criminal element, like the criminal element in this, was very shaky. I wish they
Yes.
weren't so
It was rough.
ham-fisted with like, "Hey, we're criminals."
Right.
Marty, what his name? Monty, we're criminals. Monty,
yes.
we need the
Yes.
money back. Like I wish they would.
He talks like a snitch. Everything about him is like snitch grammar.
What was
He
he
talks
locked
like-
up for again? I don't remember.
He
what.
got caught
So-
because
so
our man Isaiah Washington, Clay Davis, finds the bricks. He goes,
and
"She."
Tony Saragusa told
Yeah.
him where the brick was, but it was
Yeah.
like in the
Tony
couch. It was
Saragusa
a huge
ratted.
brick.
Yep.
He ratted, so they popped up on him before he could really like have the stuff hidden.
Gotcha.
So they found like a big ass brick.
Yeah.
You know, so this is 2000. So that brick guarantees time. This is no
Oh,
plea
yeah.
deals.
And
with
you
that
know
type of
what's
shit.
mostly completely insane about this movie? It is so fucking good. It's so watchable. There's a lot. I mean, like the dog, and then the whole sequence with the "fuck you" New York part. You know, "fuck you," dude,
Yeah.
like, with that whole sequence where he's looking in the mirror and he's cursing out everybody in New York, and then the whole scene at the end with the dad.
Oh,
He's
that
driving
scene's
the Jeep.
amazing with
Oh
Brian
my
Cox.
god, that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
But in the middle of all that stuff, because I don't want to go, I'm not trying to ruin it. I mean, we've kind of ruined a lot, but like,
I
you have,
mean,
like,
it came out
Patrice-
20 years ago.
True.
I mean, look,
You have like
spoiler
Patrice
alert for
O'Neal in this
anybody that
movie,
needs that.
you know,
Yeah,
like,
Patrice.
Patrice is
he's
in it,
great.
yeah.
But then you have, here's the weirdest thing I didn't realize till right now. Castro, you know who wrote this movie? Your man David Benioff from fucking Game of Thrones. He wrote this movie.
Look what Spike can do.
It was
Look
a
what he can do
Wow.
with magic.
Yeah. I don't know if he
Yeah.
wrote the novel, but Benioff wrote the movie.
He probably scripted out from the novel. He seems like he can do that. So that's the thing with Benioff and them. They can adapt a piece.
He's great at that.
But
Yeah,
once,
he's great
once
at
they
at
run out of
that.
once they run out of source material, that's
Right.
when the problems start. They don't
Yeah.
have any original thought.
Yeah.
Oh no, he wrote the book.
Yeah, that's
Wrote
what it
the
is.
book, yeah.
He wrote. Wow.
I'm telling you, they're
Oh my
good at source
God.
material. When they got source material,
No, he
They've
created the
actually-
source
I
material.
know,
for
but even
this,
still,
right.
when I'm talking about transferring it, making it into film, they're good at it when they have
Wow.
source material. When they
Yeah.
don't, it's more than obvious. It's almost reminiscent of the Wachowskis in the Matrix sequels. Think about it.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's unbelievable. Yeah, so 25th Hour, I just love it. I just, again, I don't think it's, these are just my personal favorites. I wouldn't put it against like his true landmark films, but for me, for all the reasons and then Norton, dude, Edward Norton in this fucking movie, he's both unbelievably charming, and you'd be looking at him, you're like, you are such a fucking asshole.
Can,
You know
can
what I
I let
mean?
you know something else that this dude wrote? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No
off.
doubt, no doubt.
No good.
he wrote an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia called Flowers for Charlie.
Of course he would. Now, was that like based on like Flowers for Algernon? Does anybody
It might be, yeah.
Yo,
Probably
he,
is.
Castro, he wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine, the worst fucking comic book movie of all time.
Moving on. Enough.
Oh my god.
Moving
Anyway,
on.
yeah, and Norton, I think Norton has like the greatest goatee ever in this movie. Phenomenal goatee, strong
Okay.
goatee. It's one
Yeah.
like that Downey is lusting for right now, still in his.
I don't know.
advancing age.
It was cool at one point, but it is douchey. Like ultimately, like there's a lot of douches that wear that little pointy thing.
Well, back in the moment, but
Yeah.
in 02,
Like, you
the
know,
goatee was
um,
mandatory.
Your man,
It's like head of the Satanic Church style goatee.
no, I got one
Where it
for you,
comes out.
Alaska. It's
Yeah, he
when,
like Mephistopheles.
when Snowden doesn't get a cut
Yeah.
for like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and he's on and he gets
Great
his little video conferences. Hey, I'm still alive, and then
Yes.
and Asylum. Snowden has that thing, that little peak.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
you know.
so why don't we do
call.
this? Why don't we take a break now because our last remaining picks are all standalone, like ones we've mentioned. How
Yeah,
about
we're
that?
gonna start getting.
So they're
further,
not
so.
standalones.
Well,
They're the one
I
coming
mean,
up will
standalone
right.
his catalog, and then we all acknowledge it as such,
Yeah.
not just like our favorites,
Yeah.
even though they are. Okay, bet.
All right.
Go on, culture.
Boom.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Double down, boy. New album, Vegas Vic, from yours truly, Zilla Rock. My first solo album since 96 Mentality. Out on Chung Wizard Records. Right now, available around the world. You can cop the digital on iTunes if you want. You can buy it for a G on Bandcamp if you're a real boss like that. However you want to get it, we got tapes, very limited, CDs also. Beautiful vinyl, all the artwork designed by PQ. Got everybody from Call Out Culture, Wrecking Crew in the mix. Album executive produced by Disco Vietnam. This joint is fly, energetic, fun. Roulette tables popping, free drinks all night with the cherry in there. Whatever you want to get, we're doubling down. We're going to get in the car. We're riding out to America's Playground. Vegas Vic, Zilla Rocca, new album, out now.
All right, my
Yeah,
number
sure,
two, the one, the only, the great. Actually, most people would think this is his first great movie. Not, I don't, but I can see where that is because it's the commercially viable. It was charting. It was racing up the charts in terms of like almost winning an award, and it should have won
Wow.
best movie that year by far, and that's Do the Right Thing.
Boom.
Do the Right Thing. I think people think it's his greatest or his big moment because his tropes, a lot of his tropes are immortalized in this.
Yep.
The like you were talking
Signatures.
about earlier, the talking the different slang, negative slangs when they were running through people, all the derogatory terms. You speak that run he's doing here.
Yeah.
His dolly shots he's doing here. His understanding of neighborhoods he's showing here. His expansion of races represented. There's the Asians that work in the vegetable store on the corner. Black people live on the block. White people live on the block. They own the brownstone. White cops, Italians driving the car. Like all of that is in Sal's. All of that is woven into this thing. And to me, I would challenge anybody. This might be one of the best bottle movies ever in terms of at one location.
Mhm.
It's all on
Yeah.
this block.
True.
Everything
The
happens
world
on the
building
block.
is so huge in this movie too.
Phenomenal.
The radio station in the middle of the block that
Yeah.
Samuel
Oh,
Jackson
man.
works at. The
Yeah.
old guys sitting against the
Old
red-
guys, Robin Harris,
Robin Harris and all of them. And
Yeah.
And what's his
ML,
name
he
from
passed
Homeboy
away.
from the Wire?
He passed away.
What's his name?
Which one?
The dude who played fuck, I'm blanking.
The ML, he passed. He died.
No,
the
no,
actor
no.
that played him.
The
The other guy?
I gotta pull up his name. Dude who played
Yeah, yeah.
from
And
the Wire.
he had the West Indian accent. Yeah. He passed away too, I think.
Frankie Faison.
Frank Faison. I think all three of them are dead.
No, I think Faison's alive.
Faison might be alive, but ML and
Yeah, okay.
Robin Harris, they passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Frankie Faison.
Yeah. And
But-
and
Coconut Sid, that's his name. Coconut Sid.
one of the things he did that I thought was really interesting was he brought humanity to every single character in this movie.
Yes. Regardless of what you
Everyone.
felt about their race, he showed
Yeah.
it.
Or
that's what I'm
their
saying.
actions in this particular moment.
Right.
He what's so genius about this movie is like Alaska, you're saying, he looked at every character as like their point of view is valid.
Well, it's to me, it's the ultimate organism of what a neighborhood is. I'm a neighborhood guy.
Yeah.
I love being a neighborhood. I like going outside, people knowing who I am. So there's the person that's up at 9, standing in front of the beer dispensary. They're there all the time. The person that gets like it's early. Neighborhoods are built early. Who's up early doing stuff?
Right.
The little kid is throwing the paper. That's the same kid you'll see over and over and over again. The laundromat gets open at a certain time. This store gets to open at a certain time.
Everybody knows who
4
Smiley
people
is.
waiting on the bus at the same time in the morning. Now we're morphing through. Now, mind you, I'm always unemployed. I don't care. So when you're in a neighborhood being unemployed, you get the Siri thing. So who comes out at 11 o'clock? The elderly, they get on the bus in Philly or like that. Like who's out at 1? People that only work half a day, or the third shifters that finally wake up. All of that stuff, I felt like that's why Do the Right Thing feels like his most alive movie. There's so much going on in the neighborhood. The fire hydrants, the children, even after the fire, they draw chalk on the ground. They're playing like the big part is after the fire at the end, and it's not spoiling anything. They're still playing with the basketball right there in the block. The block is still happening. The block still happens. Still goes on. The organism still spins. Great.
Well, it's almost like, it's more of a commentary to me on an overall system that forces these situations to happen. Right.
Okay.
Like, it's like everybody in there is just like part of like this horrible play.
Yes, it's a tragedy.
You have no control over. You're just like thrown into this tragedy.
It's on the track. It's on
systems that are larger than you. It's happening. It doesn't matter who you put in there. It's happening.
Yep.
And you just happen to be the unfortunate souls that are put in the track on this.
Great analogy. I like that. Alaska. Very much so. Very much a tragedy. Even though it's bright, it's during the day.
Yeah.
It is. You can parallel it with a Greek tragedy.
Yeah.
Because these things were inevitable. Bugging Out was going to have his thing. Recruit. Start problem. Sal was going to be pissed off enough. Bust the radio. Cops are called. Chokehold. Like we're downhill here. Very much.
Even
so.
like the conversation Mookie has with Pino. About
Black
people.
Pino, what I mean? That big thing. That was a big, let me tell y'all something. That was a big revelation character because that is so true. Who do you like? Magic Johnson, Mike, like, and then when Pino says they're not black, that's how people think of some entertainers that they feel are theirs. They're not of this race I don't really like. They're separate from that. Yes. And same way that we deal with exactly, but the same way we also deal with separating the art from the artist, that thing we're dealing with now in our profession, whether it be R. Kelly or Weinstein and his nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to we're trying to find what's good we could hold on to and say, oh, that was cool, but this person is awful. Same difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Same difference.
And special shout out to Bill Lee's score.
I'm so
and Ernest Dickerson's cinematography. It's one of the most beautifully filmed movies of the 20th century.
Fight the Power video was filmed on that block after they did it. It is one of the most beautiful,
like the red backdrop.
The red
Dick Willie and all them. Like that sequence is beautiful with the kids in the water high on it. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
And just even the way like his jersey contrasts with everything, like Spike's Dodgers jersey.
With
or when the bird guy comes through, how different he is with the 33 on walking around Brooklyn. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, I grew up in Brooklyn. Hey, yo, man, you're looking at a righteous black man.
Agitator. Now let's talk about Giancarlo Esposito, one of the masters. So he's playing this black
in the next
guy.
one. He's in the next movie. Which
he's such a chameleon, man. It's like
he's so good.
I remember watching Breaking Bad and not realizing it was the same dude.
So here's the thing. First, I watched him. You think he's a black guy because Do the Right Thing. He's not. Yeah. But then you think he's Latino and he's not.
No,
he's still not. Like he's not what you think he is at all. He's he has he's of Latin descent, but it's not the one you think. I remember him saying, I was like, oh really? Like he's like Portuguese. So it's so interesting because then you have like movies like Fresh, where that character. Wow, you know what I'm saying? So it's just anyway. But like this is another in his long lineage of great roles. This
he was born in Copenhagen.
Yeah, see?
His father was an Italian stagehand from Naples.
See?
Wow. And his mother was an African-American based opera and nightclub singer from
Alabama. He's part Italian, but you think he's like, like
Giancarlo Esposito is the most fucking Italian name of all time.
Wait till you hear the whole name. Giancarlo Giuseppe Alessandro Esposito.
See? When I see Giancarlo Esposito being a dark-skinned Latin, I'm thinking he's Puerto Rican. He's playing all these fucking New York roles. Nah, bro, why would he not be Puerto Rican or
his name's Giancarlo. That's the most fucking Italian name.
I hear Esposito.
Like Pino.
Esposito. That's what I heard. I don't even, the Giancarlo. Like, you think about it. Think what resonates. And then
it could also be like New York Ranger Phil Esposito.
That's what I'm saying. Like Esposito. Yeah.
Yep.
Phil Esposito. There was a hockey dude named Esposito too, right?
There was.
Phil Esposito.
Phil
Yep.
Esposito. There you go.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
All
said
right.
baseball. My bad.
No.
That's Rizzuto.
That's
We all know
Rizzuto.
who he
Yes.
Phil
I'm all
Rizzuto, yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Laska, your turn.
All right. So my number 2 is Mo Better Blues.
And my number
Ooh.
1 is Mo Better Blues.
Music.
Let's
Talk about it.
Okay, so where was the now Branford Marsalis has a lot to do with this, as well as
My
as
favorite
Lee,
soundtrack.
as well as Malcolm Lee. I think Malcolm is working on this one. I don't know if it's Bill. I'm not sure. Y'all can look it up. But
Yeah, Bill
Branford
Lee is involved in this
is
one.
Bill. Okay, so it's Bill
Yeah.
and it's Branford. Now, if anybody's
Yeah.
not familiar, Branford is like a planet, and he's doing super experimentation with that horn at this point. Like he's running things with the horn.
Oh,
And
man.
so word is he played Wesley and Denzel's parts, and they just learned how to
I can
mimic
see
it.
that. Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I guess it was like the whole soundtrack was played by the Branford Malice
Marsalis
Yeah.
band, yeah,
I got the
Quartet.
CD.
Yeah.
I got the
and
CD.
Terrence Blanchard.
Yep.
There it is, Terrence. Yes,
Oh,
good,
Blanchard.
good pull.
That,
Yes.
that might have kickstarted their whole connection.
I mean,
Yeah,
Terrence
yeah,
Blanchard
forever.
is giant. Like he's
Oh,
big
yeah.
now. Philly
All
guy.
movies too.
Yeah, exactly. But good. Y'all spill on it. I
Uh,
won't.
so it's my number 2. I'm curious as to know. I'm sorry, it's my number 1. It's
Yeah.
your number 2. Why is it your number 2?
It's the end of the
Me
movie
too.
that just like really like drives it home because I
too.
saw it at a time when I was going through something similar. Like that was the first
Boom.
time I saw it.
Being an entertainer. This
Yeah.
is a movie. This touches all of us as an entertainer because it's that dichotomy
Yes.
of Wesley
Yeah.
versus Denzel, and they're both right. Right?
But-
like they're both
Yeah,
right.
well but I'm talking more like when
The
he's
what
like at
happens-
home
what-
with his
Yes,
child
the
playing.
Miles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was just sort of like that full circle. Like all that other shit wasn't really that important.
right.
Ultimately, yes.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point.
You know,
Yeah.
like it was really just about like the love of the music and the love of the people around you.
Yep.
Like that's all it was about. And like it just like at the time when I saw it, like I didn't see it until like 2009, I think, for the first time. 2009, 2010. And it just was like it just struck me. I was like, wow, I just went through like that whole thing. You know, I obviously like not the injuries and the losing my ability to do what I loved.
Right.
But
Symbolically.
losing the love for what I did.
Yep.
You know,
Yes.
and then finding it again and like, you know, finding more love than I ever had before.
Right. That's powerful shit, bro. Like
Yeah.
that was at the time when I saw it, I wasn't, married or engaged or had a child, but it made me realize like that's the end game. And we can put off as much as we want in terms of like, oh, all that matters is me, the artist. I'm important. My art, me. Everyone
Yeah,
else needs to shut the fuck up.
Denzel
Everything's
was
about
big on
me.
that.
All the
Yeah.
women in the background, all my personal connection with people, background, because it's all about me, and I'm so fucking special. I'm on a pedestal.
And son,
No one
I
can
used
do
to
this.
think that's kind of how you had to be. So I was trying to
I
emulate
felt
that.
the same way.
I remember watching him, like knowing the woman, well, do this in step. But I used to be like that with women, not that
Yes.
harsh, but like I was like, yo, I remember meeting women, and the first thing I would say to them is like, so my music comes first. Like that's the first
Correct.
conversation we have.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that, but bear with me, y'all. I'm just a rapper. I'm not taking music still. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not immersed in it as somebody like learning an instrument per se. But I was taking my rap right. But I was taking it serious. I did rehearse. I did. But I remember telling women, my music comes
Me
first
too.
all
Same
the
boat.
time. That was the first conversation. Yes.
And I remember the end scene, again, spoilers for a 30-year-old movie. But before the end scene, when his lip is fucked up, right?
Mhm.
And when he tries to go back,
Well, that's painful. Ain't that painful for y'all?
and
Can
but the triumph in it is like he can't do his thing, right?
Right. So he has
And
to figure out.
It's kind of like all like athletes and entertainers, when they can't do the thing anymore, what is their life going to be?
When
And most
their life
struggle.
was the thing.
Right,
Like,
their
his
entire
was-
life,
Right.
everything, their identity, their cultural cachet, their relationship to people was all built on I'm more special than you because I have this thing, right?
Right.
So when that's robbed of him, the movie could have got really dark and cynical, right? But it kind of made him realize like he just had to stop and sit in one place finally and realize like, yes, I actually have someone who's special and I'm kind of fucking her over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the very end when he has like the dad mustache and he's watching this, and I was so emotional watching that, where I was like, whoa, you can lose all that, and like Alaska said, find something more valuable and more honest and more true, and something you can't even fathom at the end of it. Like, to me, like as a father now, I mean, it's unbelievably true, but I felt like it was like Spike's like most vulnerable thing. I don't know where he was in his life when he made it, but I felt like he had to have come out the other end to make that.
Okay.
I don't know how you can make that if you're like 22. You know what I mean? Or like 28, living the life. I don't know.
I will say this: if anybody because to me, like, she's got to have it at the age he was. Like, that was a high end concept to try to apply. But for me, we're more better, and that was great point, Zion. That was great stuff. I was I felt all of that really, but I was the only like musician in my family, so that familial and that lineage thing didn't hit me like it's hitting y'all. What hit me was when I got older. Now, actually, in the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years of how we started doing business and realizing that Wesley and Denzel were right. So that's why I made the song Bleak Shadows, where they're both making the point and they're both right. Because it's funny, when I was younger, I was on Denzel's side of Bleak. Oh, stop with the grandstanding, play the music, do it for the music. And Wesley's like, wait, we're supposed to play what the people like. What do you mean? That's not the music. Why do you think these people came here? They came to hear the stuff they like. That's why they paid admission. They didn't come here to hear your little sound experiments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you owe your audience, you see a packed crowd, hey, we need to play something they like. We don't need to get, you know what I'm saying, too much in our own self, too insular, ignoring that the fans are here to see us and what they like of us. And so I remember realizing that they were both right. And so that's why I made that song. And so it's like one of those movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a defined protagonist and antagonist. Because when you watch it the first time and his daydream, you think, oh, Shadow, Shadow's all messed up with Bleak. But you're like, look what Bleak did to sorry, I'm forgetting the character's name. But look what he did to her. To Clark. And not just the sex stuff, the sublimating of her carear, not letting her come out front. And Wesley wasn't like that. So when you see that happen, you're like, yo, there was a lot of ill going on with Bleak, even though you're rooting for Bleak because he's the typical tragic character hero in these movies. But when you really look at it, he's not. You know what I'm saying? He's a man that has to come to answer for a lot of the stuff he did in service of his music. It's great stuff.
I think it was Joy Lee's best performance.
Oh God, yes,
easily. She's phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I like her in Do the Right Thing. I didn't like that weird thing they were doing with Danny Aiello, like being attracted to her. That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. That was
exactly. But yes, I agree with you. I think
she should have been nominated for that performance.
It was great.
She was like hanging tough with Denzel too the whole fucking movie. She wasn't taking his shit, man.
Yeah, when they were getting to his thing, she was bringing it right back to his face.
Yeah. So let's do the we're gonna skip over Castro's number 1. To get to Alaska's number 1, which is also Castro's number 3.
Right.
So
and then we'll come.
So that would be Crooklyn. Crooklyn is
Brooklyn,
far and away my favorite Spike Lee movie.
Never take a short because Brooklyn's the borough.
It is one of the best, one of the best period pieces, and you can compare it to like Lady Elizabeth movies and Braveheart. This is one of the best period piece movies I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Glory, like I'm talking about the whole, deep historical stuff. The accuracy on Crooklyn is,
it's great, and I really love the mother-daughter relationship in the movie.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It's just unbelievably well played. The little kids in this movie are amazing.
Oh my god!
Especially the lead, she's unbelievable. Alfre Woodard is always amazing.
She's phenomenal.
I will tell you one part that really struck me. And it's just more so of a New Yorker shit. So I'm from Brooklyn, so the neighborhood I'm familiar that looked like my mom's neighborhood. And so when she went upstate and they slimmed the picture. So when you grew up, you used to watch those kung fu movies at 12, and the beginnings would always be slim for some reason. But when he used that to show upstate New York, that's how it feels when you're a metropolitan kid and you got to go out to the woods with your cousins or something. It feels weird. The proportions. I remember that being so done so tastefully that it was right. You know, the dog died. Oh, like all of that is like how it feels when you go upstate to visit like cousins and stuff, and you just want to get back to the city. I'm dying to get out of here for the summer. Like I remember that striking me because I've had those moments.
That's amazing.
So Alaska, why is it one of your like all times?
Well, I think it's like, you know, it's kind of what I said earlier with He Got Game. It's just like, I like the smaller story. Like it's just a smaller story about this family.
Yes.
And, you know, a moment that they're going through and a struggle that they're going through and how they come out on the other side. It's not a big statement on anything. It's not, you know, it's just, here's a story. Here's a slice of life for these people.
Right.
A slice of Americana. Because it's just as powerful
man.
as Wonder Years.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
And it's you get to like really live their experience. And you like in a 2-hour movie, you fall in love with every character.
Yo, I didn't know. I remember seeing when it first came out. I was 12. I didn't know what a hot comb was. I didn't know about glue sniffers.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was great.
The glue sniffer scene was amazing.
I didn't know any of that. I was like, and then I just love the kid. You know that I guess was a stand-in for Spike with the little boy with the glasses. He was my favorite.
Yeah, a little bit.
And his obsession with the Knicks. Yeah, like everything was about the Knicks, and it's like
Walt Clyde Frazier Knicks. Like he was all about Clyde.
Yeah, like I just love that shit. It just really resonated, and the soundtrack. I mean, I have the fucking 12-inch.
Like I said, that was my mom grew up that way on them porches. That was my grandfather's house, and like I know about all that hot comb. I will say this, y'all. Do y'all remember how awkward y'all were with the RuPaul scene? Like. When they were dancing in the bodega as RuPaul. I was like, at first as a right. So when you see the legs as a young kid, when anybody watched it, we were kind of young. I might have been 15. I can't remember.
I was 12.
But you see the legs. It was 94, so I'm 16. And you see the legs and you start getting aroused as a kid does at that age. And then you see it's RuPaul. You're like, what's going on? Why is he dancing with her in the store?
Yeah.
Who's working the register? Who's working the register? I remember that
dude.
Scene,
he's at that.
But it's like, what is going on here? I remember that, but that was
and he's clean.
But that's the auteurness of Spike. He's gonna throw you. Of course, that scene was about her shoplifting and stuff like that. But I remember that like,
yes, dude with the pants. Yes, with the fucking
I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, you know. And then a friend had just got away with it. Like a friend had just got away with it. And then she went and it just, I don't like buying stamps. Like I know that feeling. You don't like going to the store with stamps. It's embarrassing. Yo, that was a slice. That was like pieces of my childhood DNA. I didn't go through exactly those things, but I went through a lot of parallel things.
I'll tell you what, for me too, it was like, again, I was 12 years old. Delroy Lindo became one of my all-time favorite actors ever. From watching it, like I wanted him to be my dad. For all of his failures, like he was powerful. So charming, and like with the piano and like him with the kids.
Well, the conversation that he has with Troy on the front stoop.
Yeah, and another struggling musician. Like once my music shit started solidifying, I start relating to these characters. I know exactly what all that feels like. Remember, he had the little gig, and not that many people showed up, but like he was practicing for. Oh man, I know all that.
You know, it's
and that's when the Spike Lee kid missed the
game.
Missed the game. Yeah. Oh my god.
And you know that dude is still salty about it to this day.
Oh god, you never forget though. He had the tickets. He's hanging them up.
Oh my god. Oh, I was dating this girl, whatever, maybe 10 years ago. And she was the first person, and I'll tell you off air who she was, Castro. You might recall she is like in the Philly hip hop adjacent world. But this is like 10 years ago, and she said back then, like, "Oh, Crooklyn's my favorite movie ever made." And
you couldn't
she was a white chick from a well-to-do area, and I was like, "What? Crooklyn's
like
your favorite movie?"
Right.
And she's like, "Oh fuck!" And she started rattling off a bunch of reasons. And then, so I remember seeing an interview with Spike at some point the last 3-4 years from like Black Klansman or from Five Bloods or just whatever. And he said, like, so many people come up to me or said, like, over time, "Oh, Crooklyn's your best work. Crooklyn's my favorite thing." People run him, they're like, "Oh, Crooklyn." And he was like, "What? You know, it's not Do the Right Thing. It's not Malcolm X anymore. It's like Crooklyn is the new one that people stop him to talk to him about." Right. So, but she was the first person I ever heard say that, where I was like, huh? Wow.
Yeah,
And now
if
And a
you
it's
haven't seen this movie, you gotta
masterful
watch it.
performance by the lead. I can't remember her name right now off the top of my
That
head. But
girl,
she's gonna,
that little girl.
It's
She's
Zelda.
gone on
It's Zelda
Zelda
Harris.
Harris.
Yep. She's gone on to do. It's funny because she's gone on to do other things, but she didn't grow up as cute
No.
as you wanted her to be. You know what I'm saying? They just get
Yeah.
older, so they don't look that same.
she was
cute,
in He Got Game.
Yeah, they don't look that same cute genius.
Yeah.
Like
True,
she knew what was going on young, but she knew what she was going on growing up early. So that character is hard to duplicate because she gets growth spurts and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I loved her in that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Bokeem Woodbine as their tenant.
Oh my
Yep.
God, I forgot.
No,
Amazing.
it's not. No, it's not Bokeem. It's
Oh no, you're right.
right.
It's
It's,
Isaiah Washington.
Isaiah
Wait, who's
Washington.
Bokeem then?
Bokeem is he's not one of the Huffers. He's just, I think he might just be in
thought he
the
was a
neighborhood. No, he might just be in the neighborhood. Remember,
You're
started
right. He
arguing
is.
with
He's
the
just
other
like
guys.
a neighborhood dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shouts to Vondi Curtis Hall. I love
Yep.
him, man.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
him.
Yep. Like Spike, like not just Spike, because you have to look up these credits. Look at his casting directors. These are the
Phenomenal.
people that are he has his regulars, but the casting directors get all of the other people that fill in the other blanks. He never has a dud. What dud does he have?
Well, as I said,
movies?
Tony Saragusa. That's.
I mean, yeah,
fucking
that was he
terrible.
was a hump, but he was
Yes.
a hump. You know what I'm saying?
That
He was
rough.
awful.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to take
So,
a break? Then we'll close up. Oh, sorry.
Just real quick, I just want to mention one more thing, and it has nothing to do with Spike really, but I can
Yeah,
mention
yeah.
it all. Never mind, it's no big deal.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to talk about RuPaul real quick.
Yeah.
It's the
No,
first. one.
it's
Let's
just
do
something
it.
like
Let's do
it's
it.
I don't know if you guys ever saw this, and like I remember like when it came out, people like Twitter were making fun of it and shit. But did you ever watch the show Girl Boss?
No.
The cartoon?
No, it was like a show on Netflix.
No.
Okay. No.
And it was about like this woman that started some like online like reuse clothing thing that became like huge.
Oh, I think I started
Okay.
this show and I kind of fell off of it.
Okay.
But RuPaul was on it.
Okay.
And he was playing he wasn't playing a RuPaul character, he was just playing like a dude like her neighbor.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's fucking amazing.
Really?
I think what happened was RuPaul was like his most, to me, I know he likes
Yeah.
cross dressing, but like his most powerful character. So
Yeah.
then when you would see him dressed, that's when RuPaul to me made me understand what drag really was. Like I used
Yeah.
to always
Right.
think it was like, had something to do with like homosexuality or,
Right.
transgender and stuff. And sometimes it does. It's just a lifestyle and he puts on these clothes and he becomes this other person. But just as easily he takes them off and he is himself. So I remember realizing that, you know what I mean?
Bro, fucking
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald and Dean Norris were on this show. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a good show, man. I'm telling
Jim
you, like
Rash. My man, Jim Rash.
people got heavy on it because it was like, it was like, oh, some like spoiled rich white girl show or something like that. But the show itself was good. Like, I don't know anything about the real person. I don't really give a fuck about the real person. But the show was dope.
Oh, you know what? My girl's in this. I have like a little crush on her just because she's like a very approachable type of actress. Melanie Linsky.
I have to see what she
Yeah.
looks
Big
like.
big vibes on Melanie Linsky, bro.
Yes.
I'm a big
All right.
Melanie Linsky fan.
What's next?
Let's take a break.
Uh,
We'll do our last break and then we'll wrap up with the number one pick, Castro's pick.
All right.
All right, Call Out Culture. Talking Spike Lee, lineage of adjacentness with a Jason kid, not Malcolm X. All right, we'll be back.
Yo, peace, people. It's Prem Rock. Just wanted to hop on and tell you about my new album, Load Bearing Crow's Feet. Out now, everywhere on Backwoods Studios. Shouts to the Wrecking Crew, shouts to Call Out Culture. Shouts to Willie Green, shouts to Billy Woods at Backwoods Studios. Shouts to Shrapnel. Shouts to Brain Orchestra, Denmark Vesey, Messiah Music, Small Professor, Fresh Kills, Willie Green, myself, everyone that handled the beats, everyone that delivered the rhymes. AJ Suede, Henry Canyons, Castro Zilla, Fielded and Elusive, and Marcus Pinn on the cuts. Dr. Quandary on the art. Pick it up wherever you pick up music. Thank you. Peace. The shortest story ever fraught with blues and no less true.
We're back. Call Out Culture. Oh, and at the end of this episode, hang around. You're going to be able to hear.
So
the
you're putting it at
premiere.
the beginning. You're not putting it at the beginning?
Oh, well, at some point during this podcast, you'll hear the world premiere.
Or have heard.
Or have heard.
You
You
may have
put it at the
already
beginning.
heard it.
You may have already heard it. The world premiere
Yeah.
of the new
Yeah, I
Career
think-
Crooks single. Benicio del Toro from the new album, Never at Peace, pre-ordering live. By the time this airs, the pre-orders will be up at wreckingcrew.bandcamp.com for the follow-up album, Never at Peace, which is dropping officially on Black Friday on CD, cassette, and motherfucking mini disc.
That's
Well, you putting it up on Wrecking Crew or
Wrecking
$3 piece? Okay, gotcha.
Wrecking Crew bang. There you go. All right, enough of me. Here we go. Number one movie, Castro.
All right. Spike Lee, number one movie on my list is actually one of the greatest movies ever created, and it's Malcolm X.
Yep.
The scope of this movie is incredible. Like the way he's able to replicate New York in the 60s and 70s, in the 70s mainly, when Malcolm gets there, the way he's able to replicate Malcolm's pilgrimage to Hajj and show the scope of that, the way he's able to replicate Malcolm's ascension. Like you know about Malcolm, but you didn't know how he became Malcolm. I remember, like, you read things, but like to understand that he used to be a criminal and found Allah, to see that like on film, that was powerful. To see a man turn into a prophet, that's what I believe, in his second part of his life, in his 30s and 40s, you know what I'm saying? Like, was incredible to see purely Denzel's transformation. The man looked like Malcolm, like it was uncanny. And and it was uncanny because they do not look like each other. Denzel is a darker hued man. Malcolm is light as the sun is long. Like he's light skinned man, he's ginger almost with the red hair. And I still to this day, I don't know how, but he was Malcolm, and he doesn't look like Malcolm at all. To me, it's almost like there was a certain mastery that Cuba Gooding Jr. did playing O.J. Simpson, even though he didn't look like O.J.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was something going on. Now, Denzel was a lot different. He really embodied the spirit of Malcolm. And I remember closing my eyes sometimes watching it. And I know Malcolm's speeches by heart. And hearing Malcolm come through Denzel very eerily. If it depends on what you believe, right, spirits and all that other stuff. But to me, it wasn't scary to me. It was like iconic. But it's very eerie to people that have issues with like ghosts and stuff like that. If you close your eyes and you listen to some of those scenes, like the scene of his speech in Harlem, that's a real thing that happened. And the way they pulled back and showed all the people around him, the Muslims in the front row-ish, and then pulling back, and that was that street scene. Like little iconic scenes meant a lot to me, y'all. Like I remember the scene with Al Sharpton and getting up on a soapbox preaching on a corner. That really happened. Malcolm getting up on a step ladder just so you could be a couple of feet above and gathering a crowd. That really happened. Like those moments. That's the MC in me when I see stuff like that. When the pride that I had with how Denzel carried that role and showed the strength of the black man and the black power and the black movement back then, amongst so much dire, dangerous opposition, government after this man, trying to kill him, and any Muslims after this man, his own people after him, trying to attempt to stop this train. Everybody knew it was a train, and it was a runaway train, and it was awesome. And I think this is one of the greatest men that ever lived. I think that he was an actual living, breathing prophet on our planet. And I think this movie encapsulated and captured that in a way that I don't know if we'll ever see a biography. Like it was Ali and his other things, but like really, this takes the cake. Lincoln, like things where, Daniel Day, he's nice with it. Daniel Day is nice with it. But to me, this might be the best autobiographical character being portrayed by an excellent actor.
Yeah, and it's interesting what you were saying about how much he embodied, how much Denzel embodied Malcolm.
Yes.
I was just like, while you were talking about that, I was just like scrolling through photos.
Right.
And it's really just in his eyes. Like if you look at the photos,
yes.
It's like the way he acts with his eyes in this movie. It's just on. But also, if you've read Alex Haley's book,
yes,
you would never in a million years think that this could be put to film.
No, the way it doesn't seem big, but it's verbose with the letters in the beginning and the way he was jumping through time, telling his past and like that. You didn't know if that could be translated, and Spike did that. That's a great point.
It really lent itself to being something that could have been like a horrible, like TV movie of the week style movie.
Yeah.
But being that it's Alex Haley, The Color Purple. You didn't.
Yeah.
If you read The Color Purple, the book, I don't know if you see. Did you ever read the book?
No, I never read
the
it.
book is written in letter forms. It's letters to her sister.
Okay.
So when you have to translate that into a full-fledged movie, you have to put things in some type of timeline where the letters are just like reaching out to the void because she didn't know where her sister was for so many years and just writing. So it's the same thing to me in terms of like translating a text into a film and doing it right. Alaska, you on. Like that's a great point. Great point.
Yeah, I didn't put it on my list only because it's a fucking achievement of film and culture. It's just not a movie that I have watched. Like, it's fucking 3.5 hours, but it's such a. I think I watched it. I think my wife watched it for the first time, maybe like 3 years ago, something like that. And I was watching it like in parts with her. And, you know, she was fucking blown away. But I just remember like my stepfather having the fucking VHS in the house.
Two discs, two tape.
Yeah.
Yes, it was like a brick,
Like double box,
right?
like Godfather. The brick.
Yeah,
Yep.
and at the time I was probably 15 when I saw it in his house, and so this was maybe 6-7 years after it came out. And Castro, you said at the beginning, like I remember like the X fashion trend.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That was a big thing. Yes.
Right. So I was aware of Malcolm X,
big
and all
X
that
shirts.
shit. Right, but I didn't, and I knew it was like more prominent towards black culture, obviously, than white culture. But I didn't really know Malcolm X's thing. Right?
Like at this point, though, there was like maybe 5 Martin Luther King movies. Seriously,
Yeah,
like they've
probably.
made a number of them with different actors playing him. Way before you even seen the Old Yellow one. There's like 5 of them. Seriously.
Yeah, and so I didn't know anything about him beyond like hearing rappers talk about him, and then the X clothes.
Right.
And so when my stepfather, I saw it in his collection of tapes in like 1997. I'm like, I said to him, I was like, "Oh, like you have this movie?" It was just kind of shocking to me. My stepfather had it, and he's like, "This is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life." And I was like, okay. And I was like, "How long it is?" He's like, "It's long. So if you want to watch it, go for it." I said, "All right." So I probably watched it over the course of like 3-4 days as a kid. And I was just like, because I was in high school, so I was like falling asleep. But it was, by the time it was over, I was like, I was fucking blown away. So I think the last time I watched it a few years back, my wife watched it for the first time. Just seeing it again still, 20 years later. Just the power and like how magnetic he is. But then even like Spike Lee in the movie.
Yeah.
Spike's fucking great in this movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like there's some parts he does, to me, he's like a little too much like hamming it up. But other parts when he's in movies, I love him. This is one of the movies like I love him in this movie.
Yeah,
and,
shorty.
And the thing I love too is the scene where the white woman, how do we help?
Oh man.
Yeah.
What can a what do you say, a non-racist, like, apologetic
The white
liberal or
what
can they do? He said nothing. And you know what's funny? I was watching an old Dirty Bastard clip.
Yep.
And
With him
he was
TRL
on
Live?
MTV.
What do you do to get back to the community?
He said, wait. He said, we know that the Fugees, they have the community efforts, and we know that they're big. But my question was for Old Dirty Bastard. What are you putting energy into in your community efforts? He was like, because he was trying to make sure they were talking. He's like,
yep,
me? And they said, yeah. He said, nothing. And the crowd busts out.
I was watching that live, dog. I was watching that live on
He
TRL.
was dying. He was like nothing.
Carson Daly almost shit himself. He was like beside himself with laughter because it was so fucked up to say. But it was real. But it was just like, but anyway, like that scene, even watching it again, 3-4 years ago, I was like, well, Malcolm fucking said it, man. 60, whatever.
In his book, though, he does sort of address that he wishes he handled that different.
Oh, really?
And when he gives like the speech in the movie at when he starts the new organization at the UIAA, I'm messing up that he's explaining he was explaining the conditions under which you can help. So he was saying you can help, but you can't join, because he was very resident. And he does admit a book. That's like a point. He remembers that woman because he was going up to, I think it was Harvard. He was giving a speech.
Yeah.
And he was giving a speech to white students. So he remembers that woman asking him that. Like that was a point.
Yep.
Where he was very stubborn in his ways, and this was when he was very much still with the white man's the devil, and very, very very much being Elijah Muhammad's mouthpiece. Like seriously, like he was talking exactly what Elijah was teaching him. I won't say feeding
before
him.
his Hajj to Mecca.
Right,
Yes.
it was before all of that, and his other awakening.
That's when he's like standing on the ladder outside of the church.
He's like, beautiful cells. Come here, girl. And that scene was powerful.
That scene is
because
amazing.
they were recruiting like maids, and they were just talking to him,
Yes.
you know, grabbing them like property. And he was like, "Yo, get the hell away from over there, this little auction block. Come over here, let me show you something." And then they did a cut, and that same girl came to the meeting. Like they cut, and she was right at the meeting.
And then the only thing I really was just. I know why they had to do it, but like when he gets shot at the end,
and he smiles.
It's almost like a John Woo movie. Like the amount of shot, it's like it's the most.
But it was
violent.
that many. It was that many.
I know. I'm just like when the way it's filmed, it's like
when he
it's
smiles.
so
Alaska, you notice? You ever see him smile? He smiles right before he gets shot. He has a little half smirk, and that's ill to me because I know it's in a movie, but I think they're trying to symbolize. He's like, I'm about to be a martyr. That's ill to me.
Interesting.
And they have that's what his smile was him recognizing it's martyr time.
Yeah.
Like it's time. It's a time for martyrs, even when you're going to be a martyr. And he also had the great dolly shot where he's walking in the haze, and the lady says, "I know who you are." That's where I love her. She passed away too.
I'm trying to think real quick. In all the movies we named, I'm gonna go back to the list. Dolly shots.
It's everyone. It's dolly in everyone.
So there's one in 25th Hour. Definitely.
There's a dolly in every single one.
Or Inside Man. There's one
Inside Man when he rushes to the door. When he rushes after they fake shoot one of the hostages.
Crooklyn when he's upside down, huffing the glove.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there one in Bamboozled?
Yeah.
Because that was all shot. Remember that was the first like digital movie where it looks like shit?
It was very digital. It was Delacroix. He's like walking down the corridor. He's like kind of
He Got Game. Is there one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when he's in the hallway at the college.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then Mo Better. What is it in Mo Better?
In Mo Better, I think.
Is it when he's it's when he's doing the trumpet, but he's like spinning around.
There's that one, but there's also one where Giant is walking and there he knows somebody's chasing him. When Giant's kind of walking, he's doing the walk.
I think that's my favorite Spike
with the hand.
Yes,
Giant.
Yes, I think he's my favorite because I want to fucking kill him in that movie. Like
he's
emotionally,
so bad. Son,
he's the total.
He's such a bad manager.
He's a degenerate.
But
betting on the
also,
fucking Mets and kissing his hand. Oh my god! This guy's trouble. This is a guy you keep around you, and you get pulled into this horrible shit. And he's your friend. He's a loser, like the born loser.
And you know, not the final thing on Malcolm X. Anybody else want to speak on? But it's I mean, people go with Training Day, whatever the fuck. This is Denzel's greatest role. By far.
He's without
question. By far. Like now, I'm talking about this. If Denzel and he's about to do Macbeth, so I want to see what that's hitting for. He's about to do Macbeth. But if he did some Shakespeare prior to it, that's the only thing that could kind of come close. And I only say that because Shakespeare evokes a certain type of level of acting, and it's it's very dramatic. It's done in a certain way.
Yeah.
So Shakespearean stuff does, is very evocative to me. But
so we'll put it this way: like looking at all of our lists, he comes up between all of our lists 4 times. Denzel.
I mean, he's a
monster. Course.
So every single movie he's done with Spike Lee has made at least someone's list.
Come on.
Yeah.
Inside
Man, Mo Better. What's his name? Malcolm.
He Got Game.
And He Got Game.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to mention about Malcolm X, and maybe this is just my impression of the time, but it really seems like that was the only time that movie ever could have been made.
I agree half with you, but I know what you're saying.
It was like it was the first time that he became something of a national figure. Like even before the movie came out, well,
there was the fundraising efforts. There was the whole production, and he needed a refresher. That's when he called on Bill and all of them. Yeah. The funny thing is, the people that donated were not like natural fans of his. That's why I thought it was
even before he was making the movie. It was like that the book had a renaissance.
Yes,
and I think part of that is because of hip hop, because he became a figure in hip hop. Like people talked about him a lot in hip hop.
Yes.
So I think the book sales went up. Everything, like people were interested in learning more about him. And I think just like everything sort of like came to like the perfect point where that movie could have been made and made the way it was made.
Wow.
Agreed. Indeed.
And I also had an X hat at that time.
Clearly.
So,
yeah.
The Spike Lee 48% of the
And this is one of those
Even though it is, like Zilla said, it's 3.5 hours. This is one of those, and it's on. I watch it all the time. I mean, I've watched this movie 100 times. I know I have. No problem. It's incredible to me. Always thought so.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable piece.
100%.
And it's heavy as hell, man.
The stuff with his father fighting off the Klansmen.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Big moon. The scene with the moon and them
Oh my
riding
God,
off
yeah.
into the moon. Come on, yo.
Jesus Christ.
And how the parallel of his house getting firebombed and then when his house got firebombed when he was older.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's rough, man. But it's again, it's just powerful shit. Like it's just I feel like I don't know how many people have seen it for the first time ever in the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
But I feel like if anyone listening hasn't watched this, like we've all listed our favorite, and I would imagine people have seen most of these movies that listen to the show. But if you haven't seen Malcolm X ever, or you haven't seen it in a long time,
it's time to revisit.
It's time. It really is. Like carve out. Like don't watch Squid Game for 6-7 hours, which is cool. Watch this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it streaming anywhere?
I
think
know.
I can tell you
not.
right now. I could actually tell you right now. Hold on.
Malcolm X streaming.
Malcolm X. Oh, come on, hold on.
Movie streaming.
Malcolm X.
Was it on Netflix?
I got it.
No.
It's on HBO Max.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's
3 hours and 21 minutes.
Shit.
You know, all I have to do is for my Apple TV, I just have to say the movie's name and it'll show me which app I have it on.
Fuck yeah.
I'm actually in HBO Max, so let me just make sure that is.
Do that
still
up.
accurate.
Yeah. It's right
Nice.
there.
Yeah, right there.
So while you're doing that, why don't we wrap up by going through our list again from 5
All
through 1?
right.
Cash, what was your 5 through 1?
My list was Bamboozled, Jungle Fever, Crooklyn, Do the Right Thing, and Malcolm X.
Long. My list was Inside Man, Bamboozled, Do the Right Thing, 25th Hour, Mo Better Blues.
And mine was He Got Game, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, Mo Better Blues, and Crooklyn.
Fucking great list, boys.
Great list.
Phenomenal shit.
I mean, this episode is, it works itself out. So we will be doing more of these hip hop adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned, we might do one on a Tunnel nightclub, Yo MTV Raps, Fab Five Freddy.
Yeah. Ralph
McDaniels. Shoot, we'll even do one on like Kurt Loder.
Yeah.
Bobito. We gotta do one on Stretch and
Bobito. But just like people, Big Les, the original Rap City cast, that type of thing.
The Mayor, Chris Thomas.
Steve Stout.
What's his name? My bad, y'all. The fashion cat we mentioned.
Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan.
Cool.
Fubu. Stuff like that. Like just mentioning these hip hop adjacent things.
Adjacent.
We'll even talk about like when the NBA got all hip hopped out, which to me I think was Shaquille O'Neal. I think it was like Shaq. When Shaq came into the league started getting hip hopped out, commercials, endorsements, and then Iverson came in 2000. But I remember Shaq in the commercials, endorsements, and he was adamant to have like rapping and stuff. And I remember that's when it started cracking off with the NBA. The highlight videos and stuff like that. Z, remember that?
Yeah,
mid-90s
era.
So just a heads up, Malcolm X is on HBO Max, and so is He Got Game.
Ooh.
Oh.
I'm gonna revisit Crooklyn definitely this weekend. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's a special movie, man.
I just remember seeing it as a kid when it came out and loving it, and then the soundtrack, and then the Crooklyn Dodgers too, and then going back to it, thinking of all the characters who I saw later, like I said, Delroy and Alfred Woodard, but I probably have only seen it twice max in my life.
I've seen it about 50 times.
Yeah, I gotta watch Crooklyn again.
That was the first time I remember seeing Delroy Lindo.
Me too.
I mean, I'm sure he's been.
And then I saw him
in
Get Shorty after that, and he kind of was on a good run. I loved him. Shouts to Delroy.
Oh, Prem is hanging out with Sketch and Rich.
Rich
said they were gonna call me.
Sketch.
He said they were gonna call me.
Yeah, Delroy. Shouts to Delroy. He's the only really worthwhile thing in the Five Bloods. Movie's a fucking disaster, but he is.
I've changed my. I like the Five Bloods.
Oh man, you can't like the Five Bloods, dude.
I was. Me and Woods. We had intense conversation. He actually called me right after.
He's right.
intense conversations, but I think upon rewatching,
Nah,
I did rewatch it.
you rewatch.
I like it. Yeah, I did.
Come on, dude.
Yeah,
Stop.
I did, boy.
This
I
is
like
propaganda. This is propaganda. The
I
listeners
like it.
don't.
Listen, the only little hiccup is they stayed the same age, but I didn't care.
The only little hiccup is it's 50 minutes too long. It's the only hiccup on the Five Bloods. It's not good.
Not that bad, yo.
It's
Check
2
it out.
hours. This could have been an hour and 10 minutes. It would have been perfect.
Go watch the
It's
5
2
Bloods
hours and
shot in
34
Vietnam.
minutes.
It's an
So what?
accomplishment.
An
Revisiting
accomplishment.
Vietnam in present day.
Nah, bro.
Delroy Lindo.
Nah.
Jonathan
If it was
Majors.
just about Delroy, it'd have been amazing.
Excuse you.
He's
Jonathan
fine.
Majors'
He's
first
fine.
role. Excuse you.
Okay,
I'm
he's
talking
fine.
about it. I don't need your help. I don't need it. Jonathan Majors is in it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
All right. If you like Lester Freeman, he's in it. Just give it a go. Trust
So
me.
Spike Lee directed Gerard Carmichael's
9.
stand-up comedy album.
Stand up joint. That was
I
his.
love that one,
Yeah.
dude. We talked about the
Love It,
sneakers.
Love at the Store.
Oh no, I thought he did like the 9. What was it called? 9?
I don't know. The one that they came up when I searched Spike Lee was Love at the Store.
The one I'm talking about is like he filmed it right after Trump got elected with Gerard Carmichael, where he's like in the middle of like almost like a stage, like a playhouse, and the stage is in the
Let me
middle
see.
of the whole room. It's a really small space in New York.
Yeah, no, the one in 2014, Love at the Store.
Oh, okay. I'll talk about the one after that then.
There was like Gerard Carmichael 8.
8, yeah, not 9. 8. That's my shit. 8
I'm
is
not sure
phenomenal.
who that was directed by.
8
let's
is
see.
fucking awesome.
Gerard Carmichael's dope.
He's so good. Yeah, 8 is my shit.
That was directed by Bo Burnham.
Really? Bo Burnham did that joint?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's filmed really well too. It's like it's very, very intimate. He's
Did you guys ever watch his show? The one that he had on NBC?
I never saw. I heard people raved about it. I never.
It was great.
What? Carmichael, the one that was on ABC?
The Carmichael show. Yeah, with
I heard it
him
was
and
really
David
good.
Allen Greer.
Yeah, I heard it was
I
really
gotta
good.
peep that joint. I
Yeah, it
feel
was
like it's
good.
probably on Xfinity on my shit.
It's probably like on Hulu because it was an NBC show.
Yeah, they have
it
like the
might be.
Peacock app. They don't do Hulu.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh,
I got Peacock because I still pay for cable, so you know I'm straight.
gotcha.
All right. All right,
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Thank y'all
This
for
was a
tuning
fun
in to
one.
Call Out Culture. All our Call Out Cultures. Follow us on Twitter. Go to our YouTube channel, our Instagram, all that good stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
And
hit
we
us
had
up.
hit us up, give us some comments on iTunes. Patreon is still alive and kicking. So if you want to become a Patreon, join up.
Yeah.
We have different levels, $5
Maybe
tier,
I'll do a
$10
live
tier.
a listening
$20
party
tier.
for Career Crooks, like
Yeah,
Alaska
do it.
did for Human Zoo for a Patreon.
Yeah, I
list.
didn't do that for Todd. Oh, excuse me, not for Todd. I didn't do it for Little Robert Hutton because I had a whole rollout plan that didn't involve any previews or
It was
leaks.
just
So
utter
that was,
silence.
anyway.
And hit us up on our Twitter feed and let us know if there's anybody that is hip hop adjacent that you want us to cover.
That was
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, please do that. It could be Tony Hawk. You know, that the skateboarding culture is big.
Good
We can
pull.
talk about that, and we know skaters. We can get a skater or two on the show.
Yes.
We can talk
Shit,
about it.
that'd be a great episode for Duke.
Doof.
Yeah, Doof or some other cats. A few other
Carmichael's
cats.
on Hulu, just so everybody.
Okay, good. I want to watch
All
that
right.
too. I want to watch that.
All right. Call Out Culture.
All right, yo.
Black. Peace out.